Hello, my name is Liz Crowther, and I got into acting because I was born into a theatrical family. Both my parents were actors, and my mum was a dancer as well. My dad was called Leslie Crowther, and he was a presenter, comedian. He was going to be a concert pianist, fantastic. So anyway, we used to go and watch him. Me and my twin sister Lindsay were on tour from the time we were very small till we were about six, watching in the wings, and so you kind of soak up stuff. And then I wanted to be a ballet dancer, but I failed to get into the Royal Ballet School. So I ended up going to Arts Educational, which is a wonderful dance school and acting school. And yeah, so I suppose I was surrounded. It was the family business, really, basically. Yeah, it was at Teddington Studios, and I was 12, and it was very exciting. But in black and white. I think you can get a couple of the episodes on YouTube actually, with a fantastic producer called Pamela Lonsdale, who remained a friend all my life, all her life and my life so far. Oh, she's not with us anymore. Yeah, it was a wonderful experience. My character was called Alison Hemmings. She was a local councillor. I think it was Angie Carroll, lovely casting director who I've worked with before. And I'm not sure either if there was something to do with Colin Stephen, the script editor, who'd just come off Family Affairs, where I'd been playing the mum in that, and we'd all been blown up not that long before. And so I think it must have been like that. I'm not quite sure, but I nowadays we have to make self tapes and things, and I don't remember. I don't remember an audition, but it was a long time ago, so um, I'm not quite sure. But Angie Carroll was the lovely casting lady. She was a really confident, front-footed, sassy, ambitious woman. Um, I can't remember much more, but she talked about being political. So she was quite political. She was very engaged. There's one episode where she takes a whole load of young kids around the fire station, and she seemed to be very concerned about the people in her ward. Sometimes there was a slight edge of her doing it for her own career path a little bit. She was smart, she was funny. Yeah, it was a very nice part to play. She's a very front-footed woman, and caring. She went and visited John on his boat when he had food poisoning and stuff like that. She was, and you did see a slightly vulnerable side of her in the dance hall scenes when she was she wasn't so sure at what she was doing. So I think she was a decent woman. Lovely man to work with. Absolutely. I spoke to him the other day, actually. I've played his wife twice since then in episodes of Doctors, including one only about, I don't know, about 18 months ago or so. Yeah, we got on like a house on fire, and really good actor. And his character John was very serious and paternal towards his crew. He was a good leader. And he at the end of I think I did about eight or nine episodes, and at the end when he wouldn't compromise his job for his girlfriend, me asking him to do something, to approve something. So he had a lot of integrity, and he came across as very strong and experienced, and yes, and he was a widower in it, and had his wife had I think they'd had an accident. I don't know how much I'm supposed to say in this sort of thing, but and yes, it had kind of left sadness in him. Um, but yeah, I loved working with him, and I've played his wife, as I say, twice, so that was really nice. And I think originally, Colin said, I think I was just hired as a guest artist, and then they said, oh, there was real rapport between you, so we thought yeah, we're gonna, write a bit more in. Oh, well, they were lovely. I knew Sharon Deuce already because I'd done a series called Growing Pains with her and Ray Brooks and Trevor Peacock, lovely Trevor Peacock. Um, and yeah, everybody was completely charming. Fu Man actually lives near me, and Connor Byrne. I then went on to do an episode or two of The Dumping Ground for CBBC, and he was in that then. But they were always all charming, and yeah, and it was exciting to go into the fire station, and because she was a very confident woman. She knew what she wanted, and she kind of marched in each time, and there was a very funny a couple of lines that because my hair was really bright red then, and uh, as I came in and said, "Oh, where's John Coleman, the commander?" and they said, "Oh, he's upstairs." And then as I left, somebody went, "Oh, Ginger Rogers," or something like that. One of the other firemen went, "Yeah, I bet he does too." And I thought, blimey, they got that under the radar. That's so it was quite funny. Because of the way it works, you tend not to be called if they're in a I don't know, an office somewhere or another location, then you don't tend to be called for those bits. So usually your locations, you'd be there the whole day or sometimes maybe 2 days. So uh, I can't remember whether there was anything at the Three Mills studio. There must have been one of the offices or something. I can't remember what was there because I think probably the real fire station was the downstairs bit, and then some of the offices would have been in the studio. Do you know that? I'm not sure, but I think that's probably, I should have asked Eddie that, but I think that's how it worked because for the real scenes in the offices and the canteen and stuff like that, they couldn't be in a real fire station then because it would take, they just take it over. So and sometimes you'd sometimes wait around because schedules are quite hard to organize, and of course the main characters would be off doing something else, but generally you do your block of stuff, um, and then you might have to change your clothes, and then it would be the next day or a week later or something like that, and you don't do it in order, so that's quite challenging sometimes. You look at that amazing episode that Heather Peace did, where she gets raped, and you think that if you don't do that in story order, that's very hard to build up to those huge things. And and I noticed that Eddie's character really handled that situation very well as well. Um, can't remember all their names, but the director would always be there because they'll be telling you, can you give that a bit more punch, or can you walk in quicker, or there's lots of technical things you have to do, and you might have to lean this way a bit because you're blocking somebody else's view, or um, uh, but yes, I can't remember how many directors there were, to be honest. But I know I had a fantastic time doing it. And the producers would sometimes come and watch. But what you do first of all, you don't always do now, you do something called a read through, especially on a big series. And I think I was in episode 1 of that series. So you do a read through, which is quite scary. It's like in a really big room, huge table, everybody's got a script, and then you read through the whole episode. And sometimes it's so they think, oh, we might need to tweak that line a little bit, or maybe we need to make that clearer, or something like that. But it's lovely because you get to know everybody. You do the same in theatre as well. But often now when you're filming, they don't do that anymore because they don't have the time or the place. So you just go and film your bit, and sometimes you don't, you know, occasionally I think you don't even meet the other person. You just do your lines, but mostly you do, but you don't have so many read-throughs now. I did like the stuff that we did in the Rivoli Ballroom. in Broccoli. And I remember my character, Allison, when he takes her into this place and the doors open, I literally did the same as my character did because it's the Rivoli Ballroom in Broccoli. I think they've done lots of filming there. It's so fantastic. This beautiful, ornate, deep red ballroom, huge space, chandeliers. And it was lovely, and it was very nice. We got to dance together, and it was romantic. And Yeah, it was it was I like those scenes, and you saw her a bit more vulnerable because she wasn't so good at that, whereas she was quite confident about all her political and councillor stuff for the local ward, local borough. Actually, there's one other bit that I do remember too was one of the fires I had to go to somewhere in the East End, and all the incredible people. It must have been the fire brigade doing the fires as well, but my goodness, it was a long way up on the top floor of these block of flats, and the heat that we felt. I mean, that was quite frightening because you don't very often experience that sort of thing, but because we were filming it, then you did get to experience it. I mean, horrific, and it made you respect them even more. Well, yeah, she was a very smart lady, a lot smarter than me. So you can see I'm a bit wispy and wavy, and I had terribly smart clothes. And they were clever because some of the ones when I was on an official visit, I was slightly more. I remember I had a navy suit, dress and jacket with sort of white round the edge. It was very official looking. And then when we went out to the Rivoli Ballroom on a date, I had sort of softer clothes and in more, pinks and sort of softer and frillier and stuff like that. But they were fabulous clothes. Yeah, and high heels, which I don't wear anymore. Because Eddie's huge. He's about, I don't know, 6'4" or something. And I'm only 5'4". So I think I had high heels when we were dancing together. No, I think those ones of the Rivoli Ballroom and being absolutely knocked out by that place, and then on also on Eddie's boat, he had a was it a barge or I can't remember, but I think I went and visited him. I remember that scene because that reminded me a little bit of Shoestring, which I'd done years and years ago, which is also set on a boat. I mean, different place, but no, I just remember it being a really jolly, happy time and enjoying the role because she was such a front-footed and ambitious and confident woman who um, which yeah, I hadn't played so many of maybe. Well, there were in the scenes when I was they had one of those, I can't remember what they're called, those crane things that they rescue people on. I can't remember whether we watched that or I can't remember, to be honest. I know because I watched some of the episodes back. And in fact, I saw Idris Elba in two of the episodes. It was incredible because I've been working with him. He'd been playing my son's friend in Family Affairs. I didn't realize he'd done a couple of episodes of London's Burning. It's terrific. Stunts. No, I can't remember any particularly, but I do remember seeing the flame. I mean, the flames are enough stunts, and I don't think I even saw a hose. Talk about, yeah. Well, I was lucky enough. I lived in France when I was an au pair when I was 18, and I've always been very keen on France. And I went to study there a bit longer, and I was lucky enough to do a French film. Um, End of 23, and that's coming out in the UK. It's called Jane Austen Wrecked My Life. It's come out in Paris. It's half in English, half in French, and that's coming out, I think, in May, 16th of May, probably in some of the more art housey cinemas. I don't know. But it's a rom-com. It's fantastic. And I play the head of the Jane Austen Society, who loves speaking French, and that's coming up. Um, I'm working with a lovely company called Separate Doors, and they do work it's a national ensemble of actors, and five or six of the actors at least have learning difficulties. And we've done a few plays. So you work in a different way. And we've done some projects in Chichester Theatre, Derby Theatre, and I'm going to do one at the Queen's Theatre, Hornchurch, at the end of April with a young actor called Joe Sproul. So that's good. And then I'm just teaching the odd workshop. And I also work in a day centre for people with learning difficulties when I'm not acting as well. I used to do drama there, but yeah. And I've been, you can still see stuff like I just last year or the year before I was in Beyond Paradise and Dalgleish and Vera and Miss Scarlet and the Duke, or, not playing massive parts, but having a lovely time and getting to film in exciting places like Lindisfarne. Oh, thank you, Andrew. It's been fascinating. And I was so pleased to go back and look over the episodes and think, wow, this is, you know, a big part of my life 1 year, 25 years ago, and an exciting thing to do. Well, thank you.